know what time it is. Crack open that bottle of wine. Grab your favorite glass, pour a couple of fingers of scotch in it. Get that stick, light it, and blow. It's time to hang with Steel Sharpens Steel After Dark.
Hello, Sharpies. It's just been a while. We haven't done an After Dark in a while. And I saw it sitting up in there in the media tray. And I said, you know what? It's time.
I was so excited to hear the After Dark because, you know, I be channeling my inner Kappa when it comes on. Grab a stick, light it. I love it. I love it. That's a bop.
Yeah, that is a bop. Thank you to the people at Envato for giving me that soundtrack. Elements.envato.com. So welcome. We are here for Steel Sharpens because in the interim between our shows, since between I saw Michael and now Joy has seen Michael.
Yes.
And so we were very inspired about that. And when she called me today to say, hey, I saw Michael and blop de bloop de bleep.
We talked for like an hour about it.
We did.
I called him. I was like, I'm emotional and you're the only person that I know that might understand it. So I had to call. Are you at work? I hope you're not busy.
And so she came up at the end of our conversation. She came up with the name of the show this week. And so here we are, Steel Sharpens Steel. So that is where we are at. There's been a lot to talk about. Obviously, we missed last week. And so there's some things that we might have talked about last week that we will need to talk about this week. Chief among them is war. Good God. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Straight up our moves. That's kind of where we are. We literally have a president with the lowest approval rating in recorded history all time. Zachary Taylor, you good. There's a lot. Millard Fillmore.
They've shot people. And his approval record is the lowest of all time.
So to put not too fine a point on it, we had Operation Gasoline Price Freedom or whatever that lasted about 24 hours. And Iran is looking at you like, meanwhile, gas is so high right now that Trump can't even go back to but Biden, because year over year of the last year of Biden's presidency, the average, not the average, never in California. We're never as low as the average in California, just to be clear. Texas, y'all got it straight. Louisiana, Georgia, even DC, when I was in DC, gas was at least $1 a gallon less. So we never get that average, that 340.
Right.
That y'all be getting in the rest of the country.
Weighing is the right word.
The average now, I saw a meme today. I don't know if it's actually crept up that high, but I saw a meme of $5.10. I think it's probably closer to $4.50. But the point is that that's the national average. I know here in California for regular, it's $5.89 at ARCO.
For regular. So we're not even talking premium gas. Premium is
correct.
Like
now I drive a Honda Pilot, so I don't have to worry about premium gas. But diesel, I have seen diesel last week for $8 a gallon. And, you know, if you live or vacation overseas, their price is by the liter. And so it looks small in comparison until you remember, there's like 3.75 liters to a gallon. So they're always paying $8. That's nothing to them. That's cheap. But they also have mini bikes and bicycles and things. So they're not using gas the way we are. Their communities are a lot more walkable. They take more public transportation. There's buses and metros and everything else. So
and please recognize that the reason America doesn't have mass transit across the country is the gas lobbyists who are just like, no, we want you to drive it would be so much easier. And it would have created the jobs that every president always lies about creating. Create the jobs building bullet trains from New York to LA. You know what? And you didn't even have to do a bullet train. You can stop in the middle in the little square states if you want to. Let them get on and have a vacation. But imagine how that changes commerce, job security, tourism, right? Imagine if there was a bullet train to the Grand Canyon, right? Or even a train.
Well, and you know, to be out here on the left coast, as they say, the bullet train between LA and San Francisco, it done happened. Stuff is kind of getting together. Even the bullet train from LA to Vegas, not that Vegas is a place that people go anymore, but the point is that instead of that sort of level of infrastructure in commercial and public transit, instead we got the USA in your Chevrolet and buy a gallon of gas or 20. And so that's what we got. It's petroleum dependence. It's not looking forward, not taking in the lessons of other countries. Go ahead.
It's also it's not listening to the Black president, because he was pushing for alternative power. And people who don't know politics, don't understand worldviews, don't understand international diplomacy and international threats. Every president since the first Bush has known you do not want to get, and Rob Reiner, you do not want to get into a land war in Asia. Like, everybody knew that, right? And they avoided it. Like the people that are close to previous presidents have said that Israel came and asked, you know, hey, can we bomb? They're like, no, we're not bombing, man. Just chill out. And meanwhile, while keeping them at bay, you talk about deal with the devil, you know, keeping them at bay and trying to support massive infrastructure changes. We had the infrastructure bill. We had all this, you know, pushing for wind power and solar power, et cetera. All of that was in the plan. Yeah. And yes, I know they wouldn't listen to Obama, but all of that was in the plan so that you could give a middle finger to Israel. But you had to separate yourself from that first, right? And other presidents have tried. There's always a lobby against it. There's always all of the Republicans who all think that they're about to be the rich person or whatever, or, you know, insider trading, to say no. And then they got a president who was like, oh, you want to bomb somebody? That sounds cool. Let's do it. America. And now look at you, $8 gas. And no alternatives.
And here's the thing, y'all. The $8 gas is what's going to eat you up, not in your gas tank, because most Americans don't drive diesel. It's going to eat you up in your food costs, because all of that food, all of your garments, everything that has to be transported, anything that's going to Walmart that is a long haul trucker, that's diesel fuel. You're talking about prices doubling for diesel fuel.
And you're right, Mark. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Art imitates life, imitates art.
Right.
That whole miles of shimmering cement. That's exactly what that was. I'm sad that I know that line from that movie.
That's a great movie. But we are where we are, and we are in a space where we're dealing with so many things going on in the country, beyond the war, which is its own huge thing, was the Supreme Court and their ruling on the Louisiana case, which was about redistricting, which has now kicked off a wave. And just so we're clear, there was a time when mid-census redistricting would have just been thrown out of hand. You got your shot every 10 years. That's when you get to do it. Not only did they decide to do it late last year with Texas, and then, you know, it got on the ballot for California, got on the ballot for Virginia. There are still some states, but Democratic-led states took it to the people. They took it to their citizens. It passed with a larger margin in California. The groundswell
of people to vote for something. Every Republican knows that they are unpopular. Even in the hard red states, they are unpopular, and they could see the writing on the wall, which is why they did this. And then, I really want Democrats to be smarter. Real G's move in silence. They've been crowing about the blue wave and about how we were going to take all these seats, and they were being very proud of themselves for finally letting America be smart enough to vote out, et cetera. And, a couple of districts. And then, of course, you had California with the big moves and everything. And they were like, you know what? We need to stop. We need to start stealing districts and not just votes. Right? We need to just erase everything. And then so many people don't even understand what gerrymandering is.
Right.
I had 3 days worth of conversation on Threads. Finally, I just resorted to pictures. See these blocks?
Right.
These blocks represent this. You cut these blocks the other way. See how they no longer have a voice? Well, they can still vote. They can still vote. But when you talk about majority ruling a district, they're never going to have a majority anywhere that they are. And that's what's happening in Memphis right now. They've they've pulled the Venn diagram apart, if you will, to chop up Memphis, I want to say into incorporate into like 3 other surrounding districts, but you lose the majority of the people in that area. And it's done on purpose. And they try to say, well, it's done along, something borderlines, river, blah, 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 blah. And it's not partisan. It has nothing to do with race at all. It absolutely does. And that's one of the issues with Black people being so tied to the Democratic Party right now, is that they can say it's not race. It's Democrat versus Republican. We're just trying to shore up the base, blah, blah, blah. And none of it is true. All of it is, we don't want them N-words to vote. They never have.
Well, and here's the double-edged sword of that. First of all, when you talk about fair apportionment, people consider Indiana a ruby red state, right? Because of what their legislature is and the representatives that come out of Indiana. 45% of the electorate in Indiana identify as Democratic. So to Joy's point, if you can slice off, let's just say Indianapolis, because it's a major population center. And so there's going to be more Black people in a major population center. And so if you have a bunch of Black folks in Indianapolis, and then you take off certain slices of Indianapolis and put it into a closer red suburb, and you do that 4 times, now what used to be a locus of Black support, where you maybe had Indianapolis represented by a Black representative in Congress because lots of Black people were there and lots of Black people voted as Democrats and elected a Democratic representative, now you have that diluted and separated. But here's the thing. You can do all of the cutting you want. Your voters don't like you.
Right.
And so a lot of your voters aren't coming out to vote. They're just going to stay at home. It doesn't matter how you redraw. You have Democratic enthusiasm and you have apathy on the Republican side. Because guess what? You've made everything more expensive. You can only lie so much to someone for so long. And you've been lying for a full year. It'll almost be 2 full years by November. And nothing is cheaper. Nothing you have done. It was 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks for 10 damn years. You still haven't put forth a new healthcare plan.
No, you don't even have the concept of a plan.
You don't even have the concept of the plan. You don't even have a text about a tweet of a meme.
You didn't even have a dream.
You don't have an Iranian war video of a plan for healthcare. You don't have a Drewski skit of Erica Kirk explaining the concept of a meme, of a plan, of a tweet. So you've done nothing, and everything is more expensive. And you're kicking veterans out of homes. Literally 17,000 American workers. You talk about bringing industry, bringing manufacturing back to Spirit Airlines folded because the price of gas doubled.
Right.
And don't try to.
And they were already doing BOGO on their seats anyway, so they had no money to give.
They had nothing to give. They were charging you $79 for a carry-on. All you could carry on with you was a personal item.
Right.
And now if you wanted to bring and you best believe I flew Spirit last month going to Vegas and the ticket was cheap.
Yep. You just wear layers of clothes.
I took a backpack. I was only going to be there 2.5 days. I took a backpack. I vacuumed that thing. And I wore a change of clothes, and that was it. And I slipped my bag right up in that thing. And people thought, oh, well, Biden did the JetBlue. JetBlue came out and said, if we had bought Spirit, we'd be gone too.
Yeah.
Because we'd be carrying that debt and the price of gas. So you'd lose 2 airlines. I didn't know 17,000 people work for Spirit. You could hardly tell.
Right. I thought it
They
was
certainly
like
were working customer service.
11 pilots and some volunteers. You know?
Listen, you talk about the people who had to stand underneath that bitch and push it to get it into the air. So that's where we are as a country. Already the worst job creation in decades. Listen, big front seat was fine. Mm-hmm. Not anymore.
And the Spirit had its place. And somebody was talking about that. Like people are saying that like, oh, you know, the other airlines are going to absorb them. But there are people that if they couldn't fly Spirit, they just wouldn't fly. But it's not is that loss of organic revenue in the airline industry is going to not be felt because a whole lot of people that didn't fly Spirit also are not going to fly because ticket prices, it's cost me what? $480 some odd dollars to fly to Raleigh from Atlanta on Delta.
Oh yeah, well, of course.
Well, yeah, Delta, but still,
Delta.
it wasn't any cheaper to fly any other way, right?
No, absolutely. And I don't know how many of our viewers, because I'm a child I came of age, let's say, in the 80s. And there were airlines in the 70s going into the 80s that were no frills. So like when I used to fly as a kid, you get a packet of peanuts and half a can of Coke. Then they grew into, listen, if you don't want any of these quote unquote luxuries, like a pack of peanuts is luxury, but if you don't want these things, we'll cut your ticket price by $50, $60, $100 and you can fly no frills. Now, it was like being in the back of the plane in the first Airplane movie where you might as well have had a bus strap standing by there as you took off. But you could fly somewhere cheaply and they were short routes and, you know, they had their place in the market for people who needed to get somewhere fast and it was close and you didn't want to spend a lot of money. Then that went away. And then you went back to, okay, we've got to make it a value proposition. You can get a whole can of Coke now. And that was great.
Cheez-Its.
And you could get some Cheez-Its. Then they started taking that price directly out. And now you had to buy your food. You can get you a snack box for $14. You can get a bag of chips for $3.50. The same price that you would pay in the airport, which is actually kind of ridiculous, but whatever.
I've paid $3 for a Snickers bar. Yeah,
exactly. But Chan is right.
To Chan's point, you know, low cost alternatives keep fares out for everyone. Yeah, it created competition that is not going to be there because they weren't priced out. The gas prices got them, right?
Yeah. That's what it was. Spirit was doing fine. And in LAX, trust and believe, Frontier is next. I'm telling you, Frontier is next.
They used to be luxury. I remember back in the day, Frontier had like the leather seats and the hot cookies. It was great. But this was in like the 90s. Right.
No, Frontier, both Spirit and Frontier, if you go to LAX, they would tell you that Spirit travels out of Terminal 2, but then you get on a bus and you ride for 15 minutes to the back corner of the international terminal, 2 terminals away. And then you got to get out and then you got to walk up 6 escalators. And it's insanity. So I get it. But Frontier, the way they be canceling flights anyway, and their hub is Denver, bruh. Denver. And if Frontier cancels your flight, your connection, your entire itinerary is screwed. Yeah. I would never fly Frontier again anyway, especially not with this foolishness. And so
what gets me is because we're about to fly. I'm flying into South Korea next week, right? And we lucked out because the plane is Korean Air plane. It is not. It's a Delta partner, but since it's going back and forth to Seoul, it's the Korean Air plane. When I tell you that shit is luxurious, and they do things like give you warm towels.
Oh yeah,
tuck you in and provide food with actual utensils. I think they still have to give plastic utensils because they come in and out of the United States. But I remember when I flew Singapore Airlines when I went to Bali, they was giving us straight metal. Like, we ain't worried about none of that here. Anybody stealing nothing. And choices of food. You know, you want the chicken or the fish or the steak, right? Meanwhile, I was in Comfort Plus on Delta, which is supposed to give you a few perks, and they were like, "Yeah, you still got to pay for liquor." I was like, "I thought drinks are free, only on certain flights over a certain amount of time." And since I was only going to Nashville, they're like, "Yeah, no liquor for you." How am I supposed to show up sober? What's that about?
Yeah, I can't say I've flown Korean, I've flown JAL, I've flown KLM, I've flown from Swiss Air.
Wait, CJ said she tried to book a Frontier flight and found that she could not get back.
That's the thing. And they tried to have a deal where for $49, you could fly for the cost of tax, but you could only book like the day before you wanted to fly. So it was like, and you could only book like the one thing. Like if you had a trip, if you were going to stay 6-7 days, you could only book like the first bit. And then you go there and then you wait to figure out when you can get a flight back. So it sounds cheap. If you don't have a job and you don't have any real commitments, you know, that might be something you could do. But if you got any of them things, then it's not, so many caveats, Anthony. Caveat emptor, as a matter of fact. So here we are. Oh my gosh, I just forgot. The whole White House Correspondents' Dinner happened since our last show.
Another fake attempt. They got video and picture of Hegseth laughing backstage.
They got videos and picture of the president standing in the wings looking, talking about, I just wanted to see if I could help. Help what? You're supposed to be in a bunker.
There's no protocol.
Take you away.
And here's the thing. I don't care if you call yourself Secret Service, you have been trained on what to do with the president. Even if somebody just starts yelling and swinging bats in the back, you're supposed to pick him up bodily and hustle him out of the room, never to return. Put him in a bulletproof SUV and be out. Right? But to see him, first off, they didn't even pick him up first. They got
they got Vance first.
They got the couch lover first. Right. And then came back and got him. And then he tripped and fell and all this other kind of nonsense. And then he's watching from the back. All of this cessation. And then, of course, the video of the police dog wanting to snitch. Police dog's like, hey.
Followed him into the room. Oh, boy, yanked the choke chain back and then ran through the damn thing. Now, we live in a post-truth world. And so it's very difficult to say what's real, what's not real anymore. Yeah. But what I will say is that I saw a video, thanks to Tizzy Ent on Facebook. He showed a video, a side-by-side comparison. And there's a version of the video, the first video we saw, where a guy is just running what appears to be past a group of people. There's a police officer that draws his gun. And there's a guy standing by some sort of big black case. Who then turns and follows. He had a hat on in the first video. Then Tizzy shows the next video. This is the video that they are now showing. The guy runs through a metal detector and he's got a shotgun. But in the first video that was shown, he didn't have a shotgun.
Right.
And the guy who had a hat in the first video doesn't have a hat in the second video. And he's looking in a different place. So, we went from, oh my gosh, gunshots in the White House Correspondents' Dinner to, oh my gosh, gunshots heard inside the Correspondents' Dinner to gunshots heard on 2 floors above where the dinner was actually taking place and no shots fired by the shooter. And the shooter was first killed. Then it turns out the shooter just tripped over his own damn shoelaces and fell on the ground because he was huffing it so fast. This is the worst one yet. And of course, they immediately pivoted to ballroom and they did a reconciliation bill in the Senate authorizing funds for the ballroom.
For $1 billion.
$1 billion. It was supposed to be $200,000, no taxpayer money.
Yeah, $200 million. Then it was $400 million.
Your Senate GOP just authorized $1 billion for that project of your money. And this is why nothing that Lindsey Graham does, because Lindsey Graham's a senator, those districts don't mean anything.
No.
It's all popular vote, Lindsey. You're done. You're done. Susan Collins, you're done.
But they don't care. They don't care because their work is done. Their job was to get us to the point where it would be nigh on impossible to return us to the closest we've been to equality, which was the 90s, right? And so now that has proven, all of the seeds have been sown, all of the foundation has been laid, he can just walk away. He doesn't care about not winning again because he's already gotten what he wanted.
Well, but what they're saying, yeah,
you're right.
Sure.
You're right.
But the judge still has an injunction on the ballroom.
Mm-hmm.
So they're calling it security features.
Mm-hmm. And trust me, Trump don't give a damn about the bunker. He wants the ballroom that he can charge money for people to come to and play around in.
Exactly.
And it'll be $1 million tickets every other weekend. Yeah.
That's
with
all
the
it
Epstein
is.
class. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's craziness.
It's terrible. The
Absolutely
whole thing is
terrible. So I'm trying to think. Oh, go ahead.
There was one point of light. And I mean, whoops. Where'd you go? Oh, there was one point of light that I wanted to talk about. And that is the fact that interesting medical thing happened recently. Spider's mouth infected by Kyle Rittenhouse.
Wait, what
if you don't know, Kyle Rittenhouse got bitten by a brown recluse spider. And I had some really good guacamole about 30 minutes ago. I mean, it's awesome.
A brown recluse?
Yes.
So wait a minute, but that headline said that the spider's mouth was infested. So
yes.
So
it was a joke headline, but he did get bitten. But we worry about the spider. Is the spider okay? Because the spider bit down on 100% crap. Right.
Well, that's good. He deserves. It looks like he maybe lost a little weight too. So brown recluse venom, weight loss technique. There have been so many. Yes, exactly. There have been and a brown recluse spider. Don't tell ICE. There have been so many horrible things that have happened. But one of the positive things that has happened, and that's why the name of this show is Sharpens, Stee-hee-heeel, is that Joy saw Michael Jackson. So, Joy, tell us about your experience. I'm particularly interested to know whether or not you had folks in the audience fully Michael Jacksoning out in the way that we have seen in some of the theaters.
So I went in the middle of the day because I work for myself and I had a day off. So I went in the middle of the day to go to one of the posh theaters here, Phipps Plaza. And it was only like 11 people in there because it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So no Michael Jackson theatrics or anything. And also I didn't have to worry about people singing along or any of that kind of stuff. I got to actually experience the movie. And I sat in the second row because that was the row where nobody was sitting by me because I didn't want to be bothered. I didn't want to hear nobody else's conversation. I wanted to enjoy the movie. So it was me and then people behind me who I didn't see and didn't turn around and look at. I loved this movie. Now, am I thinking Oscar for anybody? Not really. Do I think Jackson is the second coming? No, absolutely not. But I will say this movie, for those of us who lived in a time when Michael Jackson was Michael freaking Jackson, it will stir nostalgia for you. The moments that they capture, like the Motown 25 show, Billie Jean, Beat It, Thriller, are so frame for frame, pixel for pixel perfect that I found myself, like when they were doing pieces from the Victory Tour, I felt like I was a teenager again, crying at the concert, and Jafar does a really good job of embodying his uncle. Because there are times when he's walking and I'm like, that's Jermaine. I see Jermaine in him. And then he will turn on and he'll turn on the voice or something. And it's Michael Jackson. And I loved it.
It really was an amazing movie. And I can counter that against my experience watching Devil Wears Prada 2, which was a lot less satisfying, I have to say. I'm a fan of the original movie, so much so I said in my Facebook review, I will leave it on. If I'm in the house and I happen to be scrolling and I watch and it comes on, I will watch that movie. I'll leave it on in the background. I won't sit down and snuggle, but I'll leave it on as I'm washing dishes or whatever, just because I enjoy the movie. I did not enjoy this movie that way, but I've seen Michael twice. there's no reason for me to see Devil Wears Prada 2 again.
No, we're not giving that any more oxygen because
no, but I could see Michael again. I could
see
definitely see. If my older son, because I saw it with my younger son, I saw it by myself, I saw it with my younger son. If my older son said, you know what, Dad, I'll go see Michael with you. I saw Purple Rain with my sons. To be able to see Purple Rain in a movie theater again with my grown children was a moment for me as a dad. It just was. It was a moment for me. To be able to see Sign of the Times back in the movies,
right,
was a moment for me.
I wouldn't mind if they brought Under the Cherry Moon back. As bad as that movie was, it was terrible, but it gave us some great moments.
Under the Cherry Moon slander.
It gave us some great moments. Ruckus Stowe, you seem upset, right? That's a meme to this day. You seem upset.
so to bring full circles, I was not expecting it under the cherry moment here. Under the cherry moon moment here. My brother is more melanated than I am. And so the scene where Prince and Jerome are talking about, you know, we might be brothers, but we definitely have different fathers. Butterscotch, chocolate. we would do that because we were both crazy Prince fans. Record store, it doesn't mean anything. If you want to buy a Sam Cooke album, where do you go? To the record store.
That movie is silly. It is silly,
so
and it is
silly,
awesome,
but it's so
bad.
excellent. I love that movie. That is.
However, I will cry every time I hear something.
Every time Christopher Tracy's wind. Sometimes it snows in April.
Take me out every time. If I need a good cathartic cry, I will turn it on real loud and lay up under a blanket and cry my eyes out. It's great.
I remember when Prince actually passed, and Maya Rudolph and another woman, they were in a group called Princess, and they sang "Sometimes It Snows in April," and it was heartbreaking.
Yo, I remember we heard Prince died on the plane coming back from somewhere, and when I landed in Houston, in Hobby Airport, they have a grand piano in the intersection where the three gates meet, and this guy was playing Purple Rain on the piano when we landed. When I tell you, we didn't have like lighters and things and stuff like that back then. You know, people were just standing around just crying. You know, and the fact that both of them were born in the same year.
I mean,
that's celestial at this point. You know,
that is crazy. So we drifted a little bit, but the point is, Michael is an excellent movie, and as far as I'm concerned, it kind of kicked off the whole summer movie season. Because we've had, since Michael, we've had Devil Wears Prada.
Mortal Kombat is coming out.
Mortal Kombat's about to come out. Is God Is comes out next week.
Now, you may not have seen, I hope that most of our followers are up on everything, but just in case you haven't, Is God Is, I want to call it maybe like a touch of a grindhouse movie, but it's all black cast. Vivica Fox stars as God. She's got two daughters that she compels to go and murder their father just out of revenge. It's a long story. But
well, they were scarred. They were scarred in a house fire that he set.
Right. The father is Sterling K. Brown, and I'm interested to see him as a villain. That's going to be good. And there's plenty of other stars. It's a star-studded cast. And
Janelle Monáe is in there. Yeah. Vivica Fox is the mama.
And Erica Alexander is in it.
Alexander is in it. So there's lots of stuff. And that is like, once we get to the top of that mountain, the movie that follows the following week is a movie that just came up on my radar. When I went to see Michael, I saw the trailer for it. It's called I Love Boosters. And it's
I know somebody that's going to be in that movie.
So that's the same guy, the same writer, director of Sorry to Bother You, which definitely took a weird turn in the last part of the third act.
House movie.
But I Love Boosters. Demi Moore is in there. Lakeith Stansfield is in there. Keke Palmer is in there.
Alan Z is a you know, the other podcast that I do for like the Wanna New podcast.
Wanna New.
He sings the outro for that. He's a singer and a rapper. And he also got into acting, and he landed a role in the movie. And so we are all very proud of him for being in the movie. So congratulations to you, Alan Z, on your debut in I Love Boosters.
One spoon of chocolate from the RZA. is another one. So this is going to be a busy movie season for me. You've got Scary Movie 7 coming, you've got Supergirl coming, you've got Spider-Man Brand New Day coming. You've got a whole bunch of big screen movies coming.
It should be enough to keep you distracted from the rapid degradation of the empire that is the United States.
And the good news is that the fake popcorn oil that they use with the butter flavor isn't tied to petrochemicals. So your popcorn and your drinks are the same price. And I'm A-list, so I'm not paying ticket prices for any. Oh, Masters of the Universe. Yeah, that's another one. Mandalorian and Grogu. Now, I'm only going to see that because I'm a big proponent of, there are certain movies that are designed to be experienced on a huge screen. I saw Hokum with my son yesterday. Not a movie where you necessarily needed to see it on a big screen. You didn't need to see Hokum on a big screen. It's a very atmospheric, constrained, almost claustrophobic sort of film. It's fine to stream at home. But Mandalorian and Grogu.
To the movie, CJ. Carpool with like 5 other people. Like we used to do in college. 2 people in the front, 3 in the back, 1 laying across their lap. Everybody go.
And listen, my Costco is right across the street from the movie theater I go to. So that's the cheapest gas available. And it is not far enough away from me. It is only about a mile from my office. So I can go like after work and I can just go see any of these movies. And so it's not a big deal for me. But what I will say is we could use an escape.
Yeah.
We need some escapism. And I was just telling my coworker yesterday, we're in California, so we're somewhat insulated from some of that person's fuckery. It doesn't touch us in the same way. Our gas is high, our rent is high, but socially, we don't feel some of the agita that a lot of the rest of the country does.
I live in Georgia, and Atlanta is an oasis in a sea of red. And I wouldn't put it past them to try the same nonsense here. But please do recognize that it's Confederate states that are trying to erase Black voters' rights, and every other minority just gets caught up in the thing. They're trying to make it so that no matter who you are, your district is largely Republican. Read that as white supremacists. That's what they're trying to do. And so when you think about the South shall rise again, it's only been less than 200 years. They're working on it. They've been working on it since they lost. Right. It was their cousins' myopia, their short-sightedness, if you will, that they thought, oh, it's fine. We can let them back in. They learned their lesson. Why did you think that? Why did you think they learned their lesson? Why did you think that they weren't going to continue to hate without ever stopping? And then the idiocy of people thinking, oh, well, when they die, it'll grow out. They raise children, and those children raise children. It is a legacy of hate. Not only that, they recruit from other people who are dissatisfied with their lives to also hate. Because I saw somebody talking about, we thought the newest batch of the Gen X white people were cool because they went to integrated schools and, they had Black friends and blah, 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 blah. But you forget, they were also the first generation that actually had to compete with us. And when they discovered that their cool friend that taught them how to moonwalk was whipping their ass at work, a racist was born, right? And that's where we are now.
And let's be clear, to Joy's point about what they've been working on, y'all know it took 100 years after the end of slavery for the Voting Rights Act.
Right.
It took 100 years. That's almost as old as your president. It took 100 years for Black people to not be boxed out with poll taxes and Jim Crow and apportionment and redlining and all of that.
And you also need to recognize that a large majority of these super old politicians on both sides, went to segregated schools when they were young. So their experience of Black people is by television and hearsay for the most part. They may know some Black people. They're probably not very fond of them, right? But on both sides. And so people keep talking about, the Democrats are bought out by the big companies too. And no, they just also don't care. Like they said, in this country, there's 1/3 of the country wants to kill me. And there's another third that doesn't care if I die or not, right? I'm just another obstacle or a pet that has outlived its usefulness. I'm tired of this. You know what Black people are? We are the turtles that get flushed down the toilet.
Oh,
you
damn.
thought you cared. You thought you wanted a pet. You thought it was easy. And then when they ask for something like food or equity, this is a lot of trouble. It's hard. Just flush it down the toilet. Nobody's going to notice. And then we get gerrymandered right out of existence. And
to be clear, it took 100 years to get these rights. It took just about 60 to strip them away.
Mm-hmm.
Until in this midterm election, where GOP apathy, independent disgust, and Democratic enthusiasm come together to create a perfect storm of we about to flip this bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what it's going to be. And listen, as important as it is, we're in May, so we got about 6 months, almost exactly 6 months. You cannot allow there to be any air between you and your vote. You've got to be right there. And there are some people that we need to get elected. Jasmine Crockett is doing her own thing now. She's organizing a PAC, so she's going to be okay. Jasmine's going to be okay. James Tallarico, we need James Tallarico in. You've got that Wagner guy. You've got the senator candidate, the senatorial candidate up in Maine. You've got Mary Peltola in Alaska. We need all of these. We've got to make sure Ossoff gets back in office. You've got to make it happen. And my Rattler sister, Keisha Lance Bottoms, for governor of Georgia. Yep. Let's flip Kemp right out of there.
Yep. I just voted for her in the primary, as a matter of fact.
And, that's the homie. Like, literally, I was on the yard with Keisha. That's not just like, some Rattler bullshit. That's my girl. So we need people to be out. And it's not enough. There was an article, one friend of the show, Nikki Free Wiggins, posted something on her page, and a friend of the show, Chuck Hobbs, reposted it. And it set off kind of a gender disparity in the responses. So she posted about Cornel West, Mark Lamont Hill, and Eddie Glaude in the 2016 election, and how those dissenting voices, those voices about what are the Democrats going to do for us, this, that, that, in some way, and again, white women, white men, yes, got it. But our votes matter. It was 137,000 votes across 3 states that lost the election for Hillary Clinton because she won the popular vote. So you can't say that 50,000 Black people in Michigan wouldn't have made a difference.
Shut up, Chan.
Chan.
Shut up.
She was teaching Lance in school. Bottoms is the married name. But you can't in these fights. There's a principle, and I saw it online. There was an experiment where 2 guys were given a chance for $1 million. You had to equitably divide the money. And they tell one person, if you can't come to a conclusion, you get $1 million, nobody gets the money. They tell the other guy, if you all can't come to a conclusion, you win $500,000. So now person B doesn't have any interest at all in engaging because they know they're going to get their money. But person A knows that they've got to hustle because the option is that if I don't get $500,000, then I get nothing. So there's a worse alternative. That is the situation with the Democratic Party and the GOP party. It's not even lesser of two evils. It's what will happen to you if they get in versus what will happen to you if this one gets in.
I'll give you an even closer allegory. You remember where I moved last year out of my old condo. So I was a president of the HOA for 4 years, and I was on the board for an additional 2 years. Here's what was going on. That condo has massive structural work that needs to be done. If you remember in the early 2000s, people were putting stucco on everything and they didn't know how to install it. And so water would get behind the stucco. You had to take all the walls off. That's what has to be done at this condo. At some point, it was probably an $8 or $9 million project because we have 8 buildings, right?
Mm-hmm.
People started getting water damage in their unit because the walls are saturated. Every time it sprinkle, you got a, dripping pan or whatever. And we're telling them we got to spend this money. And they're like, it's going to be $8 million. Yeah, yes, it is. We're going to pay it over 20 years. We're going to get a loan. Well, how come we can't pay from the reserve? Because the reserves only have $500,000 in them. So because you never wanted to raise your HOA fees. So we ain't got it. We're going to have to take out a loan. But we can't touch the reserves. Everything matters. We can't touch the reserves because if we do, we won't have enough cash on hand could let the banks convince that we are a good, safe bet. So then we started having people protest. I'm not going to vote for this project until you fix my walls. Stupid. The walls is the project. I'm not voting for anything until y'all come handle these leaks. The leaks is what you're voting for. Vote for this and we will fix the leaks. I think it's too much money. How come we can't just sue the old company? We done told you 3 times they're out of business. Well, how come we can't just, just take up a collection? You want to take up a collection. You don't want to pay for it, but you want to pay for it out of whose money? Well, I think then it became personal. I think you're stealing. Stealing what? From who? This is all our money. We're going to sue you. You're going to sue yourself. I don't have any money. This is not a paid position. And eventually, the people that I wanted to, I sound like the electorate, right? Eventually, the people that I was trying to protect got so done with me because I was telling them the truth. They voted in this guy that I had been actively keeping off the board because I knew he was a piece of shit. He got on the board. First thing he do, $100,000 missing. I moved. Because what I'm not going to do is stay and fight the good fight. Now, fuck y'all. 92% out. And right now, I moved last year. I've been in this new place for over a year now. They still haven't started that project. They don't know what they're going to do. But they got some cool new ballroom type stuff, right? They got a cool new scanner for the doors that cost them, hold on, $120,000.
I know you lying.
Out of that $500,000. Now they don't have a threshold to get a loan. I convinced my friends to move too. I was like, girl, you better get up out of there before you can't sell that place. And so this is how dumb the average American is. And this is downtown Atlanta. This is around the corner from Georgia Tech. We got Georgia Tech students there, engineers, right? We got entrepreneurs, we got reality stars, all kinds of, because this Atlantic Station is like a hot part of town. And these people were too stupid to save themselves. They were so busy trying to worry about the wrong things. And they were so convinced that a Black woman didn't know what she was talking about. And that I was the worst and never happened. I actually had one of my friends who still lives there, one of my acquaintances who still lives there, send me a picture of the chat that said, when Joy was here, she never would have blah, blah, And I'm gone. Yeah, meanwhile, like you said, I love my new place. It's great. And it's solid. And it's quiet because they got good foundation and good insulation and the walls do not come off. Right?
Ain't no stucco.
Now, I wish that we could all just up and leave the United States. And this is like, when you mentioned Nikki Free, you remember that picture she had of the women sitting on top of with the burning. Yeah, and that's kind of, it started the whole 92% thing going. Well, it didn't start it, but it propagated it. The nuance of that picture is that we're in the burning city.
Right.
We see it burn. We don't have enough water to put it out, and you wouldn't let us put it out if we wanted to, because you're convinced that we got alcohol in our cups, and so you would rather us not try. But you want us to burn for you, and that's where Black women are like, nah, bro, no, you're gonna catch these flames. I told you the stove was hot. Now the whole shit burning down because you wouldn't listen to a Black woman, and you continue to not listen to Black women over and over again. I see it all across social media. I see it in how Jasmine Crockett got treated. I see it everywhere. They kept saying we should just listen to Black women, and a Black woman comes on. Not her though. Not her. Another Black woman, and it's always later. The same way they did. Somebody was just talking about, they wrote a dissertation on Colin Kaepernick, saying that was a pivotal moment in the direction of the United States towards fascism, is when they wouldn't even admit, of what he was talking about. And it was one of the first things where people started feeling like modern day dog whistles, right? Over the flag and the NFL. And it's, all of it is crazy. But here we are in a burning house. We have tried everything, but I think white people are proving they'll follow Black and brown people like a shitty ass.
So, you bring up an interesting point about, go to a Black woman. I saw a reel about some Black women. There was a young teen kid who had gotten separated from his mom, and he knew where he needed to go. And so the Black women said, "Come on in the car, baby." And they were cutting up and having fun. Like, and we're going to take you by the cookout first, and and laughing and carrying on. And people were critiquing these Black women who took care of your child.
Right.
You ain't know where your child was.
They were asking neighbors, "Do you know this kid? Where his parents at?" And I've done that before. You
took care of him. And you're going to talk about, they were making him feel comfortable. It's okay, baby. Don't worry about it. You with us, we got you. And carrying on and having fun, normalizing things, making it an
looked
adventure.
Like the kid didn't want to get out the car.
No, he was, can I go get some neck bones? Like, what's up? Right. What's good on the
it's something that I think Black women inherently do. Oh, yes, we're going to shout out Louise Lucas in a second, because she is holding it down in Virginia. They done raided her house. She flipped Virginia, 8-0 now, and that's the kind of fight and smoke that Democrats need to bring. They need to stop all of this respectability nonsense and all of this playing by the 1925 rules, and realize that you are at war. It may not be the other war we're losing, but this is one that you can win. Thank you, 10-1. Thank you, Michael. You need to recognize that the way that you've been playing with these polite gentlemen's rules, ain't nobody else playing like that. And you are losing the gentleman's game because you're the only one playing it, right? And we've been telling you this for a long time. And then you get these spicy voices that come forward, and they're too loud. And this is where young people say that the Democrats are the same as the Republicans, because you don't want to hear from anyone that's not you. They're just a different type of conservative, right? And so they need to all get out of the way. I strongly believe that there should be age limits in public service, and term limits in public service, and salary caps. You put all those things in place, and a different type of person starts to want to run for office, somebody that actually wants to help. Because if you're not in it for the money or the grift, then you're in it for the people. And we don't have enough of that anymore. Once upon a time, it was not a paid position. And when it wasn't a paid position, people got forced to have to go leave their paying jobs or their farm and go up here and mess around in DC for a little while. They couldn't wait to get home, and they would get stuff done so they could get gone. Now, the grift is in going in there, vote for yourself for a raise, get the best health insurance and security you can stand, and then just be out of session all the damn time. Which sound bites.
And Mike Johnson is doing it. Yep. Mike Johnson had the nerve to say, "Let's get the grown-ups back in office so we can keep this rolling." How do you go to sleep at night, Mike Johnson, saying that bullshit? Louisiana is in the lowest quartile in almost every metric.
It's in the lowest. Yeah. I want to say the lowest 5.
I would say. I mean, quintile, septile.
They're at the bottom. Yeah.
And Michael, to your point, there's a new initiative, because people were talking about increasing the number of justices, blah, blah, blah. There's 13 district courts. So why not have 13 justices?
Yeah, they haven't expanded it since what? Since before World War I think.
Well, FDR tried to do it and ended up not, but 13 is not a bad number.
No.
And having a cap means Alito's gone. It means Clarence Thomas is gone. I think Roberts would be gone. Shit. If I do the calculations. So the point is that it is turned into a space where you used to have a whole bunch of stentorian jurists who actually cared about the Constitution and cared about their legacy. This last little group, and John Roberts is the harbinger of it, because he has been wanting to roll back the Voting Rights Act since basically he was a fetus.
Yes.
So that's where we are. And they are not nonpartisan anymore. They are abjectly partisan. And that's the problem. I mean, well, thank you, Anthony.
Right. And some of them purportedly are in the Epstein files. Not saying who, but I think his name is reminiscent of hummus.
That dude can't do anything right. I got a bigger mug of tea to sip.
You make a good point, Chan. You know, it's the insider trading in the lobby, and you know, if this, and the reason they got paid a salary was to discourage corruption in the first place. If you're making money, but they're never satisfied, and they get further and further away from the group that they are supposed to be there to protect or to serve. And the next thing you know, they're making $1 million to not go to work and to be on the internet with me. Why are you on the internet with me?
And listen, if you are a person who cares about responsibility in government and lack of corruption in government, be aware that the Democratic Party is the only party trying to put forth a bill banning insider trading at all.
Right.
In Congress. They're the onlyest ones. You got the Secretary of Defense and his wife. His wife is in briefings now, probably to carry his flask. And shout out to Colin Jost, who created a whole little subgenre for him on Saturday Night Live with his Hegseth impression, which is really, really great. He mostly does weekend update, but now he's Pete Hegseth, and it's spectacular.
Perfect Pete Hegseth.
I mean, he's got the hair right. He's got the shouting right. He had like a 2-liter scotch that he brought in on last week's episode.
Good point. Yeah, Kid Rock is speaking to Pentagon leaders. I saw that.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Bomb with the bang boogie. What are we doing? Your biggest hit is a bastardization of the chorus of a Black hip hop classic. Right.
I mean, it's a knockoff of Rapper's Delight. Hip hop, a hip to the hippity, hip hip, the hoppy, don't stop a rocket. Yeah, all of that.
The irony. The irony is giving me heavy metal poisoning. Yeah. I can't.
Yeah.
I cannot even with you people. I'm gonna ask the Sharpies before we sign off. Is there anything else that you have on your palette that you would like for us to talk about? Because next week, the next couple of weeks, Joy is on her Korean adventure. So she's going to be snacking on kimchi and bulgogi and gochujang. So yes. I'm going to be bringing it. This is, first of all, this is yet another ask of Chan. Chan, this will be a great time for you to come on and co-host if you wanted to. Yes, it is. Good point. Let's talk about it next week. But we will be doing shows. I do have some folks lined up. So we will be doing shows, and hopefully we'll be getting some pictures of Joy in traditional Korean dress over there.
I'm absolutely going to wear a hanbok. Absolutely going to do that. Matter of fact, I've got a plan. It just formulated in my mind today because we watch a lot of K-dramas. And what I really want to do is convince random locals to enact stupid K-drama shit with me. There's, and you may have seen it because you watch anime sometimes, but there's this trope where somebody just, distracted and they walk out in the street and they get hit by a white truck. It's always the white service van or the white truck. Matter of fact, there's a joke about it in Japanese animation. They call it truckku, right? Truckku, and that truckku got you. So I want to take a picture standing in front of a white truck, and there's a trope about kind of falling and somebody catches you, and it's the romantic pose.
Yeah.
I gotta find somebody tall enough to do that with me, and I'm gonna just be like, please, sir, I know you don't know me, but would you do this with me? And I want to try to get a series of fake K-drama pictures or even video to come back with. As I'll let you know if it works.
Well, one of my favorite speaking of K-dramas and there is a little Asian girl. I'm not going to try to say what culture she's actually from, but there's a meme that went around that talks about the different ways people get shot in different genres of cinema. And so it's like the Americans, it's just a headshot and they fall straight back. And for Japan, it's the one shot and then it's another shot and a third gut shot. And then for Korea, it's like shot and guns fly behind you.
Yeah, I know the song.
I want you to be safe. I want you to come back safe, Joy. I want you to enjoy your trip. But we're here to tell you, Sharpies, we are here. We are going to be here. We are going to keep talking about the things that you want to talk about. We're going to keep track of all of these Iran Lego videos. They dropped one today. Go look up the Iran Lego video about Trump being a PDF file.
Yes.
Oh my God. That's a whole album.
They did do the whole album. They were like, yeah, it was really cute.
Yeah, it was cute. She's adorable. And I mean, to be 4 and giving all of that drama, watch for her. She is going to be on somebody's something. Absolutely. Doing something like whatever the Disney Channel is over there. She fixing to be doing it. So last thing I will say is if you haven't, give Man on Fire a look.
Yes. Oh my God, Man on Fire. I binged it in a day and a half. It was so good. Yahya Abdul-Mateen is a talent.
Well, and here's the thing. They said, oh no, it's 7 episodes. You're not getting 8. We're just gonna give you 7. And then it was over.
They didn't stretch nothing. It's back to back to back.
No, I was like, oh, there's no 8 like wrap up episode. No.
What I would love is a sequel.
Oh, well, they set it up.
Yes, it is set up. But it's Netflix though. They just be losing stuff sometimes. So Netflix, please don't cancel this because it is freaking awesome. And he's so good at this.
He is very good. And they aged the daughter. It was actually 2 of the books. So it was the first book, Man on Fire, and then the second book, A Perfect Kill or something like that. So instead of Dakota Fanning being like 7, the daughter in this is like a teen. And it's just very good. Lots of twists. And Yahya's having an incredible year between Wonder Man and this, and he's doing big things. He is definitely inheriting the serious Black actor. It's like basically Coleman and Yahya right now.
Yes, I was just thinking that. Yeah,
as the ones who are just dominating that space. So definitely check it out. It is well worth seeing. And let us know if there are any things that you are watching that you want. 2 seasons, nothing more. Okay. You know what? I don't know where they would go after that because he is an anti-hero. He don't want to do the things that he's doing. It's not like he's seeking it. So if they do the second season for the reasons that they put forward, then I can see them being done with that. Here's the thing. You could very easily make this character, the Creasy character, you could very easily make him into Reacher or like the Equalizer, or it's a generic, he's a guy with a specific set of skills. So you can whip any story you want around him. It was enjoyable to watch. And you don't have to have the daughter come in as some secret agent recruit or some bullshit. Just, he has a mission. The guy from I don't want to destroy it for you if you haven't watched it. Watch it. But suffice it to say, I can see this absolutely could use a second season, but I can see them stopping after that. But another thing that I'm watching, I got a pump for my K-dramas. This is not a romance or fantasy, whatever. This K-drama called Bloodhounds. Have I talked to you about Bloodhounds yet? No, not that. That's not on my list. So Bloodhounds needs to be on your list. I don't care what you watch. This is a show that you will like. You know why? Because Bloodhounds is about fighting. And it's not like Fight Club. It starts off with there's this guy and he's kind of a boxer. He's kind of working on that as a career, maybe. He works in, he helps his mom in her little cafe. And then, some mafia guys come around. And the whole plot of that whole season is he's got to fight his way through to save the town. Okay. But the boxing, it's John Woo level fight choreography in this. And it's so good. And the guys actually trained for this. So it's not like there's no stunt doubles. And he does like a good Dempsey hustle, shuffle, whatever you want to call it. Okay. It's so good.
It's so, and then season 2 gets even better. They bring in for the people who are like K-pop fans, they bring in a guy named Rain. Now, if you ever saw a movie called Ninja Assassin,
oh yeah.
Rain is Ninja Assassin. That's that guy. He's in season 2 as the villain.
Okay.
It's so good.
So listen, we already teased it's movie season. We're probably going to be getting a little bit more movie stuff as like a recurring feature of the episodes, especially if Joyce
the fecal festival that is America.
Yeah. And speaking of fecal festival, FIFA is looking like a whole ass mess. Not only because of Trump, but also, I'm sorry, hantavirus. And I'm blaming you. You asked for this plague.
Mm-hmm.
And you let them Swiss people off that boat. Don't bring your Hanta over here.
No.
I'm not going to nothing FIFA, no way. But keep your Hanta ass at home. Stay at home. We're not doing this.
They've been making jokes all through Atlanta like, yo, we cramming for a test. And I was like, if Atlanta was a house, there'd be dishes in the oven and dirty clothes in the tub with the curtain drawn, because the way they fill in these potholes with sand and sugar and dirt and Elmer's glue. It just needs to last through the end of the last game. Then they can go right back to potholes. Like,
yeah. No, they're just trying to keep it. They're just trying to keep it live. So with that, I think I will say that I am Yaha Abdul Mateen II.
And I am Nia Long's mother.
And this is Steel Sharpens Stee-hee-heeel. See y'all next.